Hey folks, how's it going? I'm Sean David. Welcome back to the show. Let's talk some old school basketball. Now, in today's episode, I want to talk about one of my favorite rivalries of all time, the rivalry between John Starks and Michael Jordan, and take you to an event where John Starks kind of trash talked Michael Jordan, and yeah, you guys will see what happens. But before we start with this episode, I want to give a quick shout out to my Patreons. Thanks a lot, you guys, for supporting the show. It's really appreciated. And I would say, let's dig right into today's episode.
He had a will like no other player that I ever played against. Certain guys I can get to mentally, but him I could never get to mentally. And believe me, I tried my best. But, you know, he was that special player that you couldn't break his will. You know, if anything, you just taking him to another level.
Seconds left in the fourth quarter. Starks. Yes! What a move by Starks, who was able to sky to the basket.
Now they went back after each other again. This is what Michael Jordan almost goes after him. Fortunately for Chicago, he's held back. Fortunately for New York, Rivers and Ewing can get the Starks and hold him back.
Michael Jordan receiving a standing ovation.
Starks is a little too small, he's a little too short. And he's telling Spike he's too little, he can't guard me.
Alright, for this story, I want to take you back to the late 1980s and show you how John Starks really, literally fought his way into the NBA. We all know that John Starks became a centerpiece of the successful run for the 1990s for the New York Knicks. So it's kind of hard to believe that only a few years prior, John Starks went undrafted after playing college ball in Oklahoma. Although he was passed over in the 1988 NBA draft, Starks signed with the Golden State Warriors in September 1988 as a free agent. However, as the Warriors had also drafted Mitch Richmond on the shooting guard position with the 5th overall pick, Starks only played limited minutes and only played 36 games, while Mitch Richmond won the Rookie of the Year. Starks was injured at the end of the season and therefore had to play in the NBA's minor league, which at that time was called the CBA. In 1990, he tried out for the New York Knicks and destiny took over. In one practice, he tried to dunk on center Patrick Ewing, and Ewing threw him down and Starks twisted his knee. The team now was not allowed to release him unless his knee healed until December, which it didn't, which meant Starks had to stay on the Knicks. Starks quickly became a fan favorite due to his style of play. You could really see that this kid gave it his all every night. John and the Knicks really seemed to be the perfect match. He was feisty, hard-working, and sometimes a little bit crazy. Especially in games when they used to play against the Chicago Bulls and John Starks got the task to guard Michael Jordan. And every once in a while he really did a good job, making MJ work for his buckets. But of course there were also other nights where Michael was simply Michael and unstoppable. When Pat Riley took over as the head coach for the New York Knicks, their matchups with the Bulls turned into a war. This was basically the Bad Boys Bulls matches reloaded. Flagrant fouls, trash talk, technical fouls, fights, suspensions, you name it, those matchups had everything a fan could ask for. And for some reason, both teams always end up meeting in the playoffs, just as in 1993. And this is exactly where the story takes place. It's the 93 playoffs, Eastern Conference Finals, and the Knicks won the first 2 games, putting the Bulls in a very bad position. In Game 3, Michael Jordan is having a terrible night, and even though the Bulls have the upper hand, this game was war.
This afternoon, at times you realize that it will open up, extend your defense because you're gambling. Well, the gamble worked against them first time down.
Off a nice setup from Michael Jordan.
The attack by New York, Ewing with the finish against the pressure by Chicago, and then immediately down to the guy they're trying to get back involved in their game, both ends of the floor.
Run the offense. Look out. Starks went barreling into Pippen, and then Starks in the face of Pippen, who just looks to walk away.
In that game, John Starks was really aggressive and literally looking for trouble. Also, he forced Jordan into the paint to get hit from Oakley and Ewing, which really frustrated MJ. And then towards the end of the game, this happened.
Starks, and Jordan upset because he was looked like he got scratched by Starks, and he was very upset about it. Starks with his fifth foul, and also called for a technical. And they continue on. Jordan wanted to go at him, and they're trying to calm Starks down. Starks has been thrown out. John Starks has been ejected.
John Starks was kicked out of the game and the Bulls won, but John said something to Mike that really went under his skin. After the game, both players were asked, but neither of them wanted to say what words were exchanged. Jordan, however, was really mad after the game. His performance was probably one of the worst of his career. He had 22 points, but he only shot 16% from the floor. John Starks really controlled Michael defensively that game. The next match would be 2 days later. So how would MJ react? Well, for Jordan, there was only one way.
Second portion of the regular season and through the playoffs. Starks gamble on the overplay. Jordan knocks it down. That's a three-pointer. And again, it's Grant able to keep it alive. Jordan. Yes. 10 of 12 in game 3. Jordan. Well, that wasn't a good shot, but he feels it. Bulls leading for the first time this afternoon. 26. Jordan for 3. Michael Jordan with 17 points. That's his second from that personal.
When you feel it like Michael Jordan does this afternoon, you have the confidence to come down in transition and take a three and make it.
Jordan at the guards. Pippen front right. And Grant up front. Jordan looking free. Yes. Shot clock is down to 5. Here's Jordan. Michael Jordan beating John Starks. 35 for Jordan.
Pippen rotated back in time, got position.
3 fouls on Starks. Jordan for 3. Yes. Pat Riley wants a timeout. Michael Jordan with 38. The Bulls by 11.
Starks in the game. Then after foot faking and getting some space, Jordan gets a clean look and again hits a three.
Facing the head fake from Jordan. There's Jordan on the fake. 54 points from Michael Jordan. 18 of 30 from the field. He had 6 of 9 from three-point range.
After the terrible Game 3 where Jordan only shot 16% from the field, he would answer that game with 54 points, dropping 40 points on John Starks. Unbelievable. Jordan shot 60% from the field this time. John Starks, however, also had a great performance with 24 points, but that night he was no match for MJ. The Bulls would later advance to the finals and again win the NBA championship. Alright you guys, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like the video and also subscribe to the channel so you get more stuff and content. And I guess I'll see you next time. Peace. I'm out.
He is just one of those players that just didn't have any weaknesses in his game. You know, when he first probably came in the league, you know, everybody talking about he wasn't a good outside shooter. He became a good outside shooter. Everybody talked about he couldn't shoot the three-point shot. He became a decent three-point shooter. You know, down low, didn't have a post-up game, developed a post-up game. They say he wasn't truly a good ball handler. Became a good ball handler. defensively, he was just incredible on that end of the court. And so, but he's probably, I think what separated him from everybody is that his mind.